Hello there. This is a quick review of the 2023 Audi A1 30 TFSI Sport, which is a big name for a pretty small car. I think it'd be fair to say that my small car knowledge is fairly limited. So we've got a 2021 BMW i3, and before that we had a 2020 Citroen C3. So in terms of cost, this A1 is going to be somewhere in between. It comes in at just under £23,000. Starting with the exterior then, this one is a sport model. It's got 16-inch alloys on 195 by 55 16 tyres. Front end looks pretty good. The sides are reasonably well proportioned. Back end's nice and tidy. And it does have the sweeping indicators, which my Q4 doesn't, which look pretty cool. I do think it probably looks better in other colours other than plain white. Plain white just makes it look slightly dull. But it's not a bad looking car. So first observation, doorway's really small for someone my size getting in and out. And we have the driver's seat set up for me at 6'5". Not much space behind me at all. Not a lot of legroom. There's definitely a little bag in there, you can see. Not much space. I'm pretty far back. Opening the boot. Reasonable capacity, 335 litres. And it does have a removable floor. So this is it on its highest setting. There's space for a spare wheel, but there's no spare wheel there. This is it on the lower setting. You see it ramps up a wee bit towards the front end there. But it literally just pulls out and swaps into the next place. I'm not sure if the 335 is with that in the lower setting or the higher setting. I'm guessing the lower setting. Moving inside, I really like the steering wheel. It's nice and chunky, good shape. It's got the virtual cockpit, and it's actually got a bigger virtual cockpit area than in the Q4 because it's got extra dials on the side for fuel and for temperature. Steering wheel controls, pretty good. Work pretty much the same way as the Q4 with one exception, which is there's no skip track button on the steering wheel. So you can still move up and down in the virtual cockpit through the menus, viewing pretty much the same stuff as I get in the Q4. You can move across to get your phone or the radio, but this one doesn't come with sat-nav. And when you hit the view button, it doesn't shrink the dials down like it does in the Q4. Center screen looks decent, if covered in fingerprints. And the vents on the passenger side, very like the Q4. And everything works exactly the same way. It's Audi's standard MMI system. Minus sat-nav and weather details and things like that. But if you've driven any other Audis recently, this will all be pretty familiar. So you can switch on economy tips just like you can in my Q4. And I'll tell you when to change gear. It does have automatic wipers and automatic headlights. And it does have drive modes, including individual, which gives you 6 different combinations. There is a separate button further down on the dashboard to do this as well, directly. The basic ventilation controls are below this. No climate control on this one, so nice and straightforward. And below that, you'll find the drive select button and traction control and stop start. And just in front of the gear select there, or gear lever, there's volume control and skip track. That's probably aimed at the passenger, because if you're in any of the odd gears, like 1, 3 or 5, that's kind of obscured from the driver's seat. In 2, 4 and 6, it's fine, but it's not the easiest to access. If you want to skip track in your driver, it's probably easiest just to use the touchscreen. Seats look nice, covered in cloth. A bit of piano black here and there to gather some fingerprints. And from my driving position, a pillar right beside you, which is quite annoying if you try to put your arm up onto the window, which I like to do. I can't really do that because the B pillar gets in my way. I do quite like this texture on the dashboard though. It's different and it looks kind of cool. Filming from inside doesn't really capture how far back the driver's seat is for me. So here it is from outside. At certain junctions, that's going to be pretty awkward for me to look out and see what's coming, because that B-pillar is pretty significant and pretty much in the way. So a quick shot here just to show you what it looks like when someone my size is driving. The seat, as I said, is pretty much as far back as it'll go, and I've got it on its lowest setting. So I've got plenty of headroom, as you can see, but the seats aren't very big. It's comfortable enough for the driving that I was doing. Only had the car for a few hours, so it wasn't a problem for me. As you'd expect from a small car, turning circle's pretty good. No complaints there. Performance is reasonably good as well. 0 to 60 in around 10 seconds. This A1 has a 1 litre 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine, although it does sound kind of like a sewing machine when it's idling. Although it's got 110 horsepower and it's called the Sport, I wouldn't have said it's particularly sporty, but the handling's neat and tidy and it's fairly light and nimble in the corners. And it's got that cool 3-cylinder engine noise once you actually get going. I had a little shot of all the different drive select modes, but really there wasn't a huge amount of difference between them. The steering gets slightly heavier and dynamic, slightly lighter in efficiency. Throttle response is slightly sharper, but there's no difference in performance that I could tell. How would I sum this up then? It's a tricky one. It's a nice enough car. I'd probably not go for white because it just looks like a kind of base model with the white paint. It's similar in size to the C3. It's slightly faster than the C3 that we had, but there's a more powerful C3 available. Is it worth £4,000 more than a top spec C3? I'm not sure. It depends how much you value the image thing. Coming at from the other point of view is trickier. It's significantly cheaper than the i3 was when it was new, but our i3 is worth about the same as a brand new A1. And I think that's a harder contest. The i3's got more space for the front passengers, although the doors are a little bit more for getting in the rear. It's got much better performance. It's about 3 seconds quicker, 0 to 60 roughly, as it's got about 170 horsepower versus 110. Running costs for the i3, depending on where you charge, should be cheaper, unless you're using incredibly expensive chargers. If it was my money, I'd probably go with the i3, but in saying that, if you're not up for an electric car, this is a decent little car. There will be people out there who absolutely love this. They love the way it looks, and they love the fact that it's an Audi. And if they buy one, they won't be disappointed. It's a good car. It just probably wouldn't suit me, that's all. And once again, that's me finished with my top quality consumer advice. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.